Welcome to the Industry Talks podcast hosted by Lenz Studio, where we interview film industry professionals about their experiences in the industry. We'll be your host today. I'm Jelan Maxwell. I'm a DOP here in Ottawa, Canada.
And I'm Fitch Jean, a filmmaker and director. Make sure to subscribe to keep up to date and follow us on Instagram at NDTalksPod and at Lenz Studio HQ.
Welcome back to another episode of the Industry Talks podcast hosted by Lenz Studio. Today's a little bit of a special episode. Normally we interview film industry professionals that are on sets every day shooting films. But today we're switching it up a little bit. Bringing on someone who has experience in many different industries revolving around entertainment. Jesse Jones, welcome to the show, man. Connector of Worlds, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling great being in this space, man. You guys have a lot going on and it's inspiring. So thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So for those who might not know, could we get a little introduction? I know you don't like to talk about yourself too much, but a little introduction. Who is Jesse Jones?
Man, listen, head of Jones and Jones Group out of Toronto, really focused on, branding and consulting and connecting Black and brown communities with institutions of many kinds, whether those are brands, whether it's government, whether it's political parties, whether it's it's just being a representation for our diversity and our cultures in the rooms where these larger decisions are being made. But yeah, I've got a side of me that pursues media as well. I've done a few things in TV. I basically just really like to connect worlds.
Yeah.
Right? So whether that's in the branding work that we do out of Jones and Jones, helping brands understand these communities, whether it be by the research and insights we do or focus groups or just understanding how to connect them to the culture, whether it's, being able to, understand what team over here at Lenz is doing and see opportunities in other parts where I could be like, hey, Lenz, or hey, you need to know about that's what I get off on is connecting and watching those things that wouldn't otherwise be connected flourish.
What is it about that? Because there's so many people that are just trying to get ahead for themselves.
Yeah, man.
What is it about helping others, making those connections that
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful thing. I think we get caught up in the rat race of, you got to get on. You got to get on.
Yeah.
You got to get on.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing is an infrastructure. You guys understand this. You know how the set has so many pieces to it.
Right.
Even a simple photo shoot. And I say simple because it's not. It takes intricate pieces to make it come to life and to make it work. And honestly, I don't know. So growing up, Jones and Jones didn't just pop up. My parents, Denise and Alan Jones, God rest my mother's soul. She passed away December 2020. Actually, I was just before coming here, Saturday night, we were at the Juno Awards where the Junos were honoring my mother for
Congrats.
a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Amazing.
For her work in entertainment in Canada, but also representing Black music. And they honored her with the Lifetime Achievement Award. My brother, Jeremy, and I, we went and accepted that. Wow. We've always been about representing our culture to the masses, right? Seeing my mother pass away kind of really set me to another level in terms of we don't take anything with us when our time is up. What survives us though is not the car we drove, the things we had. What survives us is the impacts that we made and the people that we influenced and who we touched. So for me, I've just always naturally kind of seen production from idea to life. That's what Jones and Jones was doing early days, creating experiences, concerts,
right.
festivals that represented us from a music standpoint, creative standpoint, arts standpoint. Mm-hmm. So my desire is to see people realize what they dream of. My mother would always say, like, if the idea is put into your head, that's the gift, because it's yours to see for real. Some people don't get those visions. You know what I'm saying? If you get a vision,
right,
that's like a gift of like, you've gotten it because you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? So she just say the work is like the gift, where that comes from. I don't know who or what we all believe in. That's for you to determine where it comes from. But if it's in your head, it's yours to see out. That's how I move. And I've experienced, you know, what it's like to be in flow, bro.
What do you mean by that?
When you are floating during what you're doing, because it's so tied into what you are naturally into.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just floating. I've experienced that, bro. And no drug can connect you to that. That's a whole other level of like, I am in the right place, doing the right thing in this very moment. I am flowing because like, yo, I do this for free. And I'm getting compensated. Well, to live my truth out. So that's why I like to connect worlds. I like to, whether it's like the brand manager or the director at this brand, because they have a job to do. And I'm able to say, hey, I know what you need. This person over here, connect with them. So what do they get? They get to realize what they need to be doing. They learn about a new person who's doing a new thing. So now they have another option in their arsenal. You know, when in the movies, the guy used to open, yo, what do you need?
What you need?
What do you need?
Yeah.
That's how I approach life. I get experiences and I put them, I tuck them. I meet you today. I know more about what you need. I tuck in that. Right. I met all of Lenz.
It's resources that you can call on.
Yeah. Bro, that is the wealth. That's the wealth. Yeah. That's currency. We are taught, we're taught that money is the currency. The currency is the relationships and how you harness them.
Yeah. Your network is your net worth. Yeah.
Big facts.
It's like, what are you doing for others?
Right.
I know you want to get on, right? And I look at you, I'm not saying
No.
these guys are like, yo. Right? It's not, I'm not talking to you. I'm just speaking in the terms of like, what are we doing for others?
Right.
What are we actually doing for other people? Give first. Give, and watch how it comes back. It might not come back from that person immediately, but that's why I like to, and thank you for using that phrase, connector of worlds.
Yeah,
because I just started diving into that phrase.
Okay. Oh.
Like 3 to 5 years ago.
Okay.
Before that, I was very uncomfortable when someone would ask me, what do you do? Why? Because at one point in my life, I was a brand manager, right? I was a brand manager at a brand, but that wasn't all I did. You know what I'm saying? Before that, I was, I've done sales before. That wasn't all I did. It wasn't all I cared about. I've thrown parties and events. I've produced events. I've acted. I've been in commercials. I've been in film. I've hosted TV shows.
Yeah.
How do you say I'm not a host exclusively. I've hosted events. I'm not a host exclusively. I've consulted with people. I've helped inspire campaign or ideas. I've collaborated. How do you box that up? So I started thinking about what is the common thread there. Bridging gaps, like bridging the gap, right? Being able to see things in places that you can like pull them together. If I'm acting or I'm in a commercial, it's still connecting that brand or that thing with an audience. So I started looking at what is it that and I go connector of worlds, and I put that up on my LinkedIn, bro. And since actually doing that, it's just had people responding to it in a way where it's like organic and it's just whatever.
I think you put a name to it, because like in my head, like what you're describing is like relationship management, like, and which is like, it's not, that name isn't like, you know what I mean? You nailed it with the name, you know what I mean? So.
Well, I think that's the lesson in that I've found out is we all have a different name. Right? Yeah, sure. Against your name is like cinematographer. But is that it?
Right.
Director of photography. Is that it? Like, it's okay to have like more than one thing that we're into. Like, you know, and so for me, Connector of Worlds was my way of just honoring what I do. And what does that mean? It is relationship management, but there's a lot. But there's so much more to that. There's brand. There's opportunities that happen. There's all types of things that get done there, right? And obviously, when you come into my LinkedIn, you'll see the headline, but then you understand, like, oh, I get it. I get it. There's these platforms that he's exist, but they're in this ecosystem, and they all. But that's my thing. That's how, and that took time to uncover. I think so. For me, it's just about like, we all have our own names, our own titles that actually do us justice, that actually speak to every fiber of us. But they don't promote that we should do. They just want you to have the one,
be in the box. Yeah. Sit in this box.
And as creatives, and those watching at home, we all know that we don't fit in those boxes, bro. And we struggle to fit in them. We struggle because that's what the infrastructure wants from us, but that's not us. So I think my thing is like, whatever your tagline is, might not be Connector of Worlds.
I mean, you call yourself Jelan of all trades,
because I've been
but right?
Yeah.
But that's your secret sauce.
And I only really like got it like only like 2 months ago, that it's like, you know what, man, yeah, like I want to do many things, you know, like I'm trying to focus on individual things right now to build up,
but it's brilliant. Because you've found it, you know what I mean?
It's catchy too.
It is catchy, exactly, but you found your thing.
Exactly.
That's a brand.
It's
a brand. It's catchy and it has your name in it, but it's Jelan of all trades. It's brilliant, man. Right? What does that mean? In a day and age where it's so competitive, Jelan of all trades will be like in my head. What does that mean? Oh, he's the one who's like, he's a creative and he does these things in the creative industry, but like I can get him, he can help me on a number of levels. Jelan of all trades. You need someone? Call Jelan of all trades, man. Because like he's gonna, what do you need?
Yeah.
Wow. That's it. That's what it is. That's what I'm talking about. We need, as a creative community, to feel more comfortable in our skin. That's what we need. Because the world says creatives, they're, I don't know, they might not be business savvy. They, you know, creatives, they'll probably want to wake up at 12, right? And they get into their creative space at a certain time. It's like, but we need you 9 to 5. Yo, you see what's happening in the world, right? It's opening up now.
Right.
The world is opening up. You don't need to be in the office to do the job. Like, we've realized that. A lot of people have been saying that for many, many years, but business still gone when the pandemic locked down. The business is still gone. The infrastructure, bro, is not for the people to really unleash themselves. So when the pandemic had us all at home, people got time to think and got time to realize, like, maybe I have some shit. Excuse my language. Some things that I want to do.
You know, actually, on that note, you think
maybe I have some things that I care about,
exactly,
that I want to tap into.
And every job, like we were at a conference, SAS North, and they were talking about how every company now is basically just one Slack or Teams chat to the next, like because you're not in office engaging with people. So then there's this huge movement now where it's like people are realizing like, I don't, I could work anywhere.
Yes.
And
and don't get me wrong, we need this. We need the in-person collaboration opportunities
I agree.
where we can feed off each other's vibes and
Energy.
energy and
yeah.
things you can't get online.
No.
But
Wow.
there's an ability to flex a little, right? And so I think that that's another thing that like I'm really seeing right now is like there needs to be more room for flex, more room for nuance, more room for like it's not just yes or no. That we can have 3 different perspectives on a topic, bro, and they all are right. Right? At different times, they might be more right than other times.
Yeah.
Might be a little right in this scenario, but another time that happens, it's like your
And
thing
with a
might
different group of people.
come on, bro.
Yeah.
But in the day and age we're in right now with social media and all these things, it's like, yo, you're either this or you're
Left
that.
or right.
Yeah.
You're either
That's it.
left or you're right. You're either conservative or you're NDP
Absolute.
or you're
Absolute.
liberal.
Yeah,
but you know what, bro? I, at certain times, am very conservative. I run a business, okay?
Yeah,
So
there it
at
is.
certain times, I'm a conservative man's,
Yeah.
okay? Other times, I'm a liberal man's. And then there's times where, like, I'm a NDP man's.
Yeah.
Where's the party for me? Why does it all have to be absolute? We are so many things. We are so many things. Life is abundant, bro. The things that we think about right now, I told you both. I told the whole team. I said, don't have me on this podcast because I'm like gonna go. But
I knew you would.
Okay.
I wanted.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I don't get the chance to do this.
I love it. I love
Usually
it, yeah.
I'm interviewing or the cure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But I loved when you guys said I want to do this because I'm like, yo, I'm so inspired by what you guys are doing that this is gonna be an awesome time to sit down. But what I was gonna say is like, there's so many layers to us. Everything that we've learned coming up as kids and that we use into adulthood, those are not our constructs.
Yes. Right.
Everything that we learned was put in us from those who cared about us, but also institutions. Religion, down to how you should act, depending on your gender, depending on you came from a certain place, a certain culture, this is what your path should be. It's all been fed to us. So at some point in my life, I was like, yo, are these my desires? Whose desires are these? Whose mindset is this? Is it mine? Or is it what I've been told to think? Connector of Worlds was my mindset. Finally going, you know what? The box thing doesn't fit me. And I chased there's no shape to call what I'm in because
Right.
it fits me.
Yeah.
It's not an octagon. It's not a square. It's not a circle. It's me. Yours is you and yours is you.
And it might be perfectly smooth on one side, a little rough on this
You
edge,
get it.
but
Exactly.
at the end of the day,
it's you.
Yeah,
and that's your offering to the world. And so what I'm on these days is like, what suits you? What skin do you want to live in the world you play in? That's the value. Because when you are able to live your energy out in a way that you're not changing it at all, bro. It's just you oozing out as director of photography or cinematographer or whatever. It's you living you and creatively being you and whatever.
What do you think about, so like for people, a lot of people like, they want to go in this direction and they want to go in that direction. But at the end of the day, like a lot of people say like, you can only go in one direction at a time. So like, how do you deal with that? How do you like, you must be one of those people, you have a million ideas floating around.
Yeah.
How do you do you focus? Do you just spread your energy around?
I never, So I have a number of different notebooks.
Physical notebooks. And I know people be watching. It's like, yo, bro, you're still writing in notebooks? But yeah, you know why? Because the act of it. The physical touch, pen to paper.
The act of it. I put stuff in my phone too. Don't get me wrong. But I love, anyone that I hire, anyone at Jones & Jones, the first thing I'll do is like, just, yo, here's a notebook. Don't leave without it. Here's a pen and a notebook. You put all your ideas there. Stuff you're working on with us, but yours too. Yours too. Just use it. But when you're meeting with us or anything, never leave it. Why? Because there's so many things you could capture. So many things you can go back to. And that booklet, that notebook is not going to break down. It's not going to run out of battery. It's not going to like fry. Might get, burned physically if something is, if you leave it somewhere, you might lose it. But like, yo, diversify, bro. Use all kinds of platforms and things. I write all types of ideas. I have an idea, I write it down. Is it something I'm going to be pursuing tomorrow? Maybe not, but it's in the notebook from when I can go back and I just have time to like look.
You go back and review?
All the time, man. Go back and be like, what did I write at the first page? What did I write over there? Oh, you know what? I never followed up on that.
Right.
Oh, whoa, I met someone. I know it's in this part of the notebook. Right. Go back. Oh, shoot. Bring it now and connect the world.
And you're at a different point.
Bro.
So you're, you might be ready now, but you probably weren't ready when you wrote it down.
Thank you.
That's interesting.
Exactly. But the idea was there.
Yeah.
And then the work was like, yo, I'm gonna go sow my oats in these areas, but this idea is still here. Let me tell you something. One time, The Drive, it's a show I sold to Global Television for 2 seasons in 2018, 2019. What is The Drive? Yo, it's me in a car. I pick people up and I'm taking them somewhere, but on the way, we're having a little bit of conversation. So it's almost like the fare is like your time to talk. Okay? We riff on anything. Okay? Topics of all types. Me in the car, 1 in the passenger, 2 in the back. It was called The Drive. I had that idea in my laptop. Never knew when it was going to be time to pitch something or talk about something. Again, have we seen people in cars before? Yeah, of course. Carpool karaoke, coffee in cars.
Yeah.
But like the way I'm vibing in the car with my passengers, there's nothing like that because it's me. So I have this idea in my laptop. I end up in a meeting, a coffee meeting with a producer at Chorus. This is the time to have the 30-second elevator.
The elevator pitch.
If you don't have it in this moment, you don't have it.
Yeah, you miss it.
You miss it.
Yeah.
I have a whole thing, TV ideas, radio ideas, a folder of ideas.
Yeah.
So that when I'm in the elevator with someone and I have till from ground to floor 8
Right.
to tell him or her about the idea, I need to have it ready, bro.
Yeah.
It's the notebook. Because when your time comes and you need to riff it in like 10 seconds, you better have it. Right? It's because it was in the notebook, bro, that when I got the meeting, I'm not hemming and hawing. It's a coffee. It's not long.
Right.
You got to have your idea.
How structured are, because like, a lot of people are like, like a business plan and this presentation and pitch deck and all that. How structured are your ideas before
I used to
bring in someone like that?
The formalities of it all. I understand the need for pitch decks because people want to come correct and want to whatever.
Sure.
Right?
Time and a place.
Yeah, exactly. Because the evolution, yes, once you get that coffee meeting, it's like, yo, Jesse, go.
Yeah.
What's the idea? If I can't get it in 10 seconds, refine it or it might not hit.
Right.
The deck comes after because after the coffee was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's and then I was like, but you know, it doesn't have to be its own independent show. Like it can be, but like you could also launch it off the morning show. It could be a segment. And I'm just like, and I see it
might not have been your perfect idea that you said, but now they might think of something else. It's interesting. You adapt to what they're willing to give you.
We were talking about ball before, right? What happens when like you're going left and they bring in like the double team? What do you have to do?
You have to adapt.
Cross over back to the right, bro, and go over here. The best players can be in the game right this and see what's coming. When your idea is crystallized in your head, but you're talking to someone and you see them reacting to certain things that could, or even more, find out what would make it interesting to them. Tailor it now. Yo, let me say, because we're on this podcast and it's about real talks, was The Drive in its first 2 seasons exactly how I would do it? No. But did it get off?
Absolutely.
Yes. Do I own the concept? Yes.
Right.
Am I doing The Drive now in a different level with branded partners and like the way and the conversations I would have?
With the independence.
Yes. Years later, the idea. These things take time. Process. Joel Embiid. Trust the process. Yeah. We're still trusting it, Joel. I know it's tough. Sixers fans, I know. The team, you know, a little bit of trouble, but you must trust the process. Even that joke, that team is going through a process. There's going to be a day.
Hopefully.
Right? But there will be a day where that comes to life. And you have to be committed to what you're actually doing to make it through those times where you're like, yo, when is my stuff gonna pop? You know, and so the notebook idea or the concept of that, it might not be a notebook that a person has. I still think it's a beautiful thing to go get a notebook. I will always push that, and the pen, because that time and that effort, is your dream not worth it? Is your dream worth the quick text, or is it worth sitting down and like being like, yo, let me work this out?
Wow.
Because if you're connected to what the craft is, you'll put in the time. And more importantly, you'll put in the time when it's not fun. When you have no reason to keep going. That's, if you don't love it, you're gonna switch up.
Yeah.
Actually, can you talk more about that? We were talking about this earlier, but the concept of putting in the work and people kind of thinking they're putting in the work, but like really putting in the work. And what does that like kind of mean to you in the any creative field, really?
To me, it means commitment, man. Like I was talking to Will, we go way back. Some of the most beautiful things like people will say when they're like, yo, I saw like, yo, you're hosting like this show on CTV, City TV. It's crazy. Like, whoa. People who know me though are like, yo, he was on CHUO 89.1 back in the day, like hosting and like doing his show called What's the Deal? Shouts out to Scott Bryan. We did that show together. You know, Scott and I had an idea. We were communication students and we said, yo, and I've always loved that world. You know, Trevor Mason was our DJ. Okay. Ebony and Ivory Sound Crew. Shouts out to them.
Oh, wow.
Incredible visionaries, these cats. And so this was like, I'm in first year, second year university, man. And so people who know me like 10, 15 years will say, this ain't the first time he's like this makes sense actually. Exactly. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
exactly what
like back in the day, I was like, yo, in the VJ search competition, you know, made it real far too. Thought I wanted to be on Much Music. That was what I wanted to do, man. Like I was like, yo, VJ thing is for me. I want to do that. But it was a part of me. It was an aspect of me, but it wasn't for me to do exclusively.
Right.
Now I'm able to work on. I did the season 1 Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Then that gave me the opportunity to move over and do ET Canada and do a special co-hosting thing for a Black History Month special alongside Keisha Shante. I'm a free agent. Like I could kind of go on any network. But back in the day, bro, I thought I only wanted to be on MTV or I only wanted to be on Much Music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, let the universe do its thing. If you believe in religion, let God do their thing. Let Allah, whoever it is you believe in, let it manifest. If you don't get that position, it's not for you. You might think that is what you were supposed to get, but if you are not there, it is not for you. There's something more. Okay? Trust the process.
Yeah.
Do you believe in putting energy in a place and what that will do to manifest your dream? If you don't believe in that, it's not going to happen for you, bro.
Yeah. It's like we were speaking earlier about like putting yourself in that corner and staying there for the 20 years.
So I love that, right? Like I asked this, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
If someone came to you, anyone, and came to me and said, in 20 years, if you live this way for 20 years, as that comes into year 20, you're gonna fly. You're gonna get the positions and the opportunities that you've dreamed of. But for 20 years, you have to live in this corner. You have to sleep here. This is where you come back to. This corner. This big. You'll have a bed. You'll have a thing to hang your jacket and your clothes. You might have like a sink outside. You can wash your clothes. You'll have to hang them in this space here and sleep here. This is where you'll bring your girlfriend. This is where you'll bring your parents to visit. In this corner for 20 years. And on year 21, you will be, your concepts will be coming off. You'll be leading your teams and creatively living your dream. You know, there's people who would tell you, bro, I don't know if I could do this corner, and I kind of want to go out and club.
Most people,
yeah.
I get it. You're saying like, if I do this, it's guaranteed, bro. Your dream will be guaranteed. They will still tell you, maybe I'm gonna try another way. There might be something else. I don't know if I could live like that. Yo, you're telling me like I gotta live like that, but yo, I gotta find a girl. I can't bring a ting back. You know what I mean? Oh, that kind of ting that, you know, those kinds of talks. Like they're gonna give you that kind of talk because these people need to be in the booth with the bottles, not being able to afford that. They want to show that. I think social media right now is a problem for creatives because we see things that make it look like I should just come out my house and win.
Yeah, they want instant gratification. You know?
If I can do this and then dance a little TikTok and get 2 million views on it like that, yo, effort, bro, is not valued anymore.
Yeah.
This social media culture, it's not, yo, do you know that black creatives are not getting easy call-ups in search?
What do you mean by that?
Try searching sometimes like you're like creatives of color. Sometimes you have to go down to like the second last letter to find them. It's very easy. You know when you search, try this, okay? Try this. There's a whole thing on this. On like who gets called up first and how like the search and the recognition of this. Like, yo, these things are deep, okay? The platforms are what they are. But yo, if the platform ends tomorrow, where does all that content go? Who owns it?
It's very true.
Who owns your Instagram content?
Meta, yeah. We agree.
How many people are doing business through their Instagram platform? Do you have a website? What happened to your website? Yo, when Instagram went down the other day, everybody's on Twitter like, yo, Instagram's down. how's your house? Where's your website? If I can't get your Facebook page, you're telling me I can't buy from you? Why? Yo, take care of home. Build your brand. Have your website. Have a place where anyone can access you at all times. Still have your platforms in here. But are you building your brand? Can you weather the storm when Meta decides to go sell?
Or someone straight up just like reports you for some random nonsense.
Someone, a platform, I won't name it, but they got reported for something. They were down for weeks.
Yeah.
Okay? If you have your own website, you're not down.
Yeah.
Right? Protect and invest in your brand. It's going to take a long time. But it's mad important, man. And like I said, if you were told 20 years in this corner, but on year 21, you get what you are working towards, would you do it?
I think a lot of people want things now. A lot of people want year 20 kind of, expectations at year 1.
Why?
That's a very good question. Maybe this how...
I mean, I think for the reality, like things are easier now. Like I was having a conversation with, because I have a recording engineer background, and I was having a conversation with someone, an older cat in the industry. He came up and he had a little bit of label. He was on like a small label and whatnot, and he was talking about like the difference between music, getting your music heard now versus before. How it's like it's so easy, anybody could get their music, and it's like it's sort of devalued it. But at the same time, man, like the flip side of that is like, man, like Spotify, right? To get your music on Spotify, to get this podcast on the streaming platforms, like we upload in like, let's take 24 hours or something, and it costs us like $20 a year, whatever. It's like, man, that opportunity, like, man, like if I was an artist, for example, I wanted to get my music at HMV in 2000s, like, you know what I mean? Man, like I would have had to have a label, I'd had to have distribution, I'd had to have somebody to make the physicals, I had to have the amount of money to get in the door.
I think there's a lot more resources now, but I think that also creates an expectation from people that it's like, oh, because of that, then I should be there.
And yes, so there's more opportunity to get out there. The groundwork, though, on building an audience still needs to happen.
Yeah, it's true. I see what you're saying.
And that's the part that I feel a lot of people don't think about. To your point, I had a conversation yesterday. I said, if I'm a new artist coming up, I am going to approach, when we talk about like access to audience, when people say there's nowhere to perform, I'm like, really? There's mad restaurants in your town that all have people that come there for food. In those restaurants, they are playing music over speakers. If I'm a new artist, I'm going to go to every restaurant in my town and say, I am prepared to come here and sing and perform on my guitar. I'll play for you right now. I'll play during the dinner hour. Do you have anywhere you could set me up with a mic? Don't pay me. I'll do this for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. And if you start to hear a good vibe from the patrons, they like what I'm doing, then let's talk about what we could do. You could do for, in terms of compensating me a little something to come out here. But I'm willing to show you my value for 8 weeks. If you think of it, Boston Pizza, Eastside Mario's, there's all kinds of, like, they're all franchised, right? They're owned by, if you went to all of them, sure, a lot of them might say, we don't need that. But if 5 said yes, as a new artist, you are building an audience where there's already people coming. You're playing music in a place where people are dining and eating, where music would already be there. You're a featured act. You can tell people, follow me on so-and-so.
Right.
You now have,
and it's a unique audience basically every night. It's not your same 12 followers.
Listen.
Yeah,
listen.
Of course.
And it's also like, it's an ongoing audience that you can connect to. Now, is that 200,000 followers on Instagram right away? No.
Right.
But it's a nucleus of artists. You can now say, if you can do 10 local spots in your town, 10 restaurants, you're at this one here and this one next and this one, that's a tour.
It's a local tour. Yeah. I mean,
is it a international tour or across Canada or across province? No. But did you do 10 dates and 10 shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't do Canadian Tire Center or Scotiabank, so people feel like, nah, man, that's nothing. Yo, you don't really want it, though.
Yeah.
You don't really want it, though. You care about the glitz. You don't care about the shits. Just made that up. but yo, we don't care about the shitty part.
Yeah.
Of making it, bro. Mm-hmm. You want the glitz, but you don't want to take the shits. And that's the problem with social media right now. It shows you the glitz. It does not show you the shitty moments, bro. Mm-hmm. It does not show you the moments of like failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you need.
Why would you post that?
And what? Right. It doesn't show you what you had to do to get out the mud and get your dream off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The system does not set it up so people can live their bliss. Mm-hmm. Work is seen as something that is like, has to break your back.
Yeah.
So so when you're doing something fun, people are like, oh, I think he has a passion and he's living his passion. He does, but it's not like work. Even to this day, the stuff that I'm doing, people kind of like, oh, is it fun? Well, yeah, it's fun, but it's also a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You think I'm hosting this show and I'm just like, hey guys, like, welcome to
they just look at the finished product and they're like,
you don't think that's
great.
Work?
Yeah.
You don't think that's anxiety?
Right.
You don't think that's like a lot of stress, doubt, all these things? But when I'm up there and I'm like, hey, what's up, Canada? Welcome to Bachelor in Paradise, Canada. This is the blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, ET Canada, what's up, Keisha? Yeah, today we're going to talk about in the ET studios. You think that just happens? Mm. There's a lot of times where I've been like living in the corner. Mm-hmm. And I'm still living in the corner, so to speak, because I'm not ever going to be where I want to be because I just want to continue to try things and do new things. Mm-hmm. So when we get out of like the glitz isn't really what I'm trying to go after. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to live doing what I love, making money from it. Mm-hmm. How much? That scales. Mm-hmm. But if I can wake up and say, and be in Ottawa to be on Indie Talks Pod because I'm in here for business trip, I decide to stay a bunch of days more to connect on the ground with people who are leading and doing amazing work. On my own dime, I'm living a dream out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right now. And I still have further to go, but it's not about the glitz for me. I'm cool with the shits because I'm like, yo, that stuff will make character. Mm-hmm. If you can get paid off your craft, you have won. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. So, yeah, man, I just feel like if we could get out of thinking that it's all about like, if I'm not doing it at the Canadian Tire Center right away, I can't. I'm and anxiety and like all this because we're thinking like we got to go from 0 to 100, bro. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing I'll say on this: baseball, the Hall of Fame. Look at the stats of people who make it into the Hall of Fame and their batting average. The MLB honors people, says you're the best of the best. Like you're the best of all the people who play baseball if you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times.
Damn. Is that really the number?
What are the highest batting averages in baseball? 300. Mm-hmm. 269. So 2 and a bit times of every 10 times at bat, this person hits, and they're considered one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's a good, yeah.
They're considered one of the best because they step up to the plate and get in there and connect on the ball in fair territory 2 or 3 times out of every 10. Any kid or us who were in school and got 2 or 3 out of 10 and went home to our parents.
Failure.
How is that not fail?
Yeah.
That's an ass whooping. Yeah.
It's an ass woman. It's failure.
Night.
It's a bad night. Any kid who's getting 2 or 3 out of 10, they're feeling like I'm dumb. Baseball honors you for hitting the ball 3 out of 10 times. You know why? Because that ball's coming at 95 or 100, sometimes 100 plus miles per hour. It's not easy to hit that ball. So you're hitting it 3 times consistently? We salute you. And you know why we salute you? Because you missed 7 times and you still came back to hit it 2 or 3. That is what life is. You're going to miss, bro. Big. And sometimes you're going to miss in front of everybody. Keep going. Come up to bat like you never missed, bro. The best hitters in the league come up like the last 7 times didn't matter. And they stand in there and they correct how they were holding it. I was holding it this way last time, so I missed. They also take a lot of batting practice.
Yeah.
Before the game, after the game. They're sitting there perfecting the swing so that, I see. Last time the waffle ball came in and it was like, it got me. Okay? Now I know that pitch. Okay, you hit me with a curveball. Okay, cool. I know that pitch now. Let me tuck it. Bat. Got you. Single. Double. Maybe I missed, but the catcher missed. So I steal first, bro.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm saying? Like this life thing, man. This life thing is unlock it. Work it for you. Creatives. Don't just work, find your niche.
But so I think there's a different side of people, and I was in this boat for a while, and I'm now making the transition. But the nest egg side of people, I don't know if you know that term, but people, they want to have this next nest egg before that jump off point. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that kind of mentality around it? And working stable jobs before. You know what I mean? Yeah.
When I moved out of working at brands and agencies and started my own thing, nobody knows this. I haven't even actually ever said this on any platform before. But I was driving like a courier, like
Like Uber Eats?
No, this was before
whatever,
Uber, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little might be a little
man,
old.
I drove Uber.
No,
Uber.
I think Uber is beautiful, man. But this was before Uber.
Yeah.
I actually had it's funny you talk about that because before Uber, I remember telling my mom, I'm like, yo, I had a concept. I think I still have the domain, but it was called bringmemyjava.com.
Coffee delivery?
Yeah, because I was like seeing people on Twitter talking about, oh man, Sunday morning I went out last night, man. I would love a Timmy's, but I don't want to go. And then one day I was like, yo, it'd be cool if like people would ride on a bike or drive in their car and be able to go pick up the Timmy's and just bring it over at a premium cost. At that time I was like, yo, put $5 on it.
People do it.
Would people pay? I was like, nah, man, who's gonna pay $5 for a coffee that's actually like $1?
Yeah, here we are.
And here we are, right? But anyways, but yeah, bringmemyjava.com was the idea.
Fire.
However, the whole thing around that is like, I want to choose my words like properly here, but like I used to drive a courier because it was cash. They paid in cash. And I just wanted cash so I could develop my consultancy. I wanted something I could do flexibly. Right? It's not tying me. I can do it. I can actually stop it
you don't
for
have
a
to
few
do it all
hours.
day. Yeah.
And then I can go do a meeting. I remember one time delivering to Yorkville in Toronto, going into the space of a place, going up the elevator to drop a package at a place like I had gone to do meetings before while working in brand and stuff. Now I'm rolling up with the checkboard, with the clipboard for someone to sign off on the package. I remember I went to the car after. I just started crying, bro.
Wow.
To my friend, I called a good friend of mine, and I called her, and I was like, "Yo, I think," and I'm in my this is late 20s. I'm like, I think I'm just like, that's crazy, because I went up, and they didn't like. They didn't know, like, it's the front desk person, like you're checking in with them. They're the ones who sign off on the packages. They don't give you no play at all. Like you're delivering. Like,
wow, yeah.
And I remember feeling that, and then being like, yo, but I was just working in these jobs, like this brand, and I was like in demand, and like now I'm here. She won't.
They see you in a different light.
They're not even look
completely.
like. I'm not saying they no one knew me. Like but it was just the feeling of recognized, not recognized.
Yeah.
Get into the car, call my friend. I'm bawling because I'm like, yo, I think I'm a failure.
Wow.
I don't know if I've done the right thing. What am I doing? She goes, why are you doing this? I said, I want the flexibility so I can build my brand. She's like, that's why you're doing it. And what are you learning? Well, I'm learning that I don't want to make people feel like they're not existent. Because that's how I kind of felt going up there. The lady just... I cared about the dream. You sacrifice in order to get there. Shouts out to all the couriers. They do important work, bro. They move things around the city and they get things done.
Especially during COVID as well.
What? Big ups to all the servicemen and women who move things and get things done. I know what that feels like. Are you prepared to do the work that it takes to get to your dream? What will you do?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to go sell your soul, but sell your soul to yourself. Don't sell it to someone else. Sell it to yourself. Are you worth that? Is your dream worth that? Those are the questions that I ask myself every day. I told you guys this, and I'm going to say it on the podcast so people hear it. What you're doing here is incredible.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Okay? What you're doing here in the city of Ottawa is incredible. It's an infrastructure. You have a campus here. I came in, I think I went to like 4 or 5 spots. And like, they're like, oh, this is one. And then it's like, oh, come see this. I'm like, well, damn. And it's all moving at the same time.
Yeah.
These pieces are moving. You guys have different creative ideas and the ecosystem. Yeah. Congratulations.
Appreciate that, man.
Part of the journey secured. There's more to do, more dreams to get off, but you guys have actually taken the time to invest, and you're moving forward. And
we were definitely in that corner for some time. I was on the same note as you, man. I remember I was like, before this, like I quit my full-time job because I wanted to pursue music before I got into film and video. and I was doing Uber. I was working at UPS, 6 a.m. to noon, then going to school, then working at a medical dispensary, then doing Uber from like, I think 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day.
And if we know anything about Uber, that shift's not the one you really, because you're dealing with a different type of people at that hour.
Like that is I mean, you get paid more.
Yeah, because of the liabilities.
But bro, like I've had people like kick my car and stuff, and like, man, like yell at me in the car, and like, man, like just no one ever threw up or anything like that. But yeah, like people don't understand, like you got to, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to be in that situation to get here. Not that this is the most successful thing ever, but you know what I'm saying?
No, but listen, you guys come into work living your passion, and you incorporate other people into that, and you are inspiring other people to do the same. You're tapping in. Now we've connected. Who knows what that spawns, but like even this conversation, the energy of it, what it will spawn to people watching. If 5 people, if 1 person, if 2 people go, I heard something there that's going to be like, yeah, I can take that. Yo, you've done your job, man. You've done your work, because we all need the inspiration. I've come here today inspired by you guys and what you're doing here. I'm going to take that juice and tuck it and go back home with something new. We don't take anything when it's your time. None of the things come with you when it's when your number is called. What really leaves is the way people, what you did with people, for people. That's the legacy. That's the story. That's the inspiration. So as you're chasing your dream, help other people find theirs. That's what I'm on. That's legit. My above and beyond thing is like, how can I help, people taste some of their passion through what I'm doing? How can I help engage them?
Amazing. Man, I think that is like, I don't even want to say anything else. That's like the perfect spot to end, man. Jesse, dude, appreciate having you on the show,
honestly,
man.
Yeah.
This has been a really, really good, and you nailed it. That's exactly what we want to do with this podcast as well. Inspire people, give people the insight to these different industries that they just can't get just being at home, right? And it's hard to make connections. It's hard to, you know what I mean? Like, but we need to share that knowledge, share that insight, share the experience.
It's not the glitter, it's the real stuff we're talking
share
about.
Share the shits, man. That's what I want to talk about. Exactly. I appreciate you saying that. And you got to coin that, by the way. You got to trademark.
Yeah. Well, it's on here and it was said here. If anyone wants to run with it, it's been documented. So I'll just come for a little piece of the winnings when you're up there branding, glitz to shits. But for real though, I'm curious from you guys before we end this, like,
sure,
where are your heads at right now? Like, where are you guys, as you move in your directions, with Lenz and all your personal kind of projects, what are some of the things you think about and want to share with the industry, or like, what are some of the struggles that, we don't talk enough about? I'm just curious. What's the first things that come to mind for you guys?
I mean, I've talked a lot about that, but I feel like I haven't heard much from Jelan. Like, I've had my whole podcast about some of my struggles and how getting into the industry from not going to school for this, just falling into it, and having a different path when it came to going to school, because obviously my background and my parents, them not really trusting the creative arts, and
and that's culturally, they just want you to be successful, right? They want you doctor, lawyer,
exactly.
And I'm not sure where your family's from, but
from Haiti.
Okay, enough said, right? Jamaican, like they didn't know fooling around. They came here, so you could do big risk, and they do not want you to struggle.
Exactly.
So be a doctor, lawyer, something that they, So I get it, man. I get it.
But yeah. So having that, taking that leap of faith, like, okay, I want to do this, and this is what I feel like I'm called for, and called to, and that that's my passion, and explaining that this is what makes me happy. And at the end of the day, it's about that happiness, because again, like you said, you're gonna, if you love it, you're gonna sit in that corner for how 20, 30, whatever amount of years it takes, because you're passionate about it.
Yeah,
I'm on the same. This is actually like real recent for me. So like right now, like I mentioned, like I quit my full-time job a while ago to pursue music. I pursued music, but then like there was always something that, like, I love music. And I still to this day, I love audio. I love music, but there's something about it. Like I was working in studios for like 3 years, like, like doing it professionally, but there was just something that wasn't quite right for me. So then I ended up going back to my full-time job. Just the money was good, you know what I mean? And I ended up then I got introduced to video, and then in that job, actually, lucky enough, it's a great job, great company.
Nice. Very
amazing,
cool,
stuff.
very cool.
And like I've been doing that for a while, and it's been super secure, and I'm doing video, and it's interesting, but it's not exactly what I want. And like the job pays a lot. Like, it's great money, benefits, all that stuff, work from home, all that stuff. So for me, like it's like basically like what I've just been realizing is like I've been real comfortable. It's been good. You know what I mean? I have no complaints about the job. They're not doing anything wrong. They respect me to the fullest. But it's like I'm real comfortable. I'm just real comfortable. It's good.
You weren't lit up though.
But I'm not lit up, man.
Yeah.
And it's like when I leave that job and I come here, man, I'm lit up. I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty tired. But I'm excited. You know what I mean?
You touch on something that's really interesting, though. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. There can be a complement of things as we look for the light.
Very true.
You can have a day gig and at night be tapping in. It doesn't have to be that or nothing.
What I will say though, and like you're totally correct, but like there is a
time though where you have to make a choice.
Where it's like, dude, like
agreed.
At the end of the day, like it's for sure like for it's been like I've been doing this for like freaking like 6-7 years where I've just been burning the candle on both ends.
Yeah.
And there's a certain point where you're just like, dude, like while like I'm doing 8 hours a day both sides and I'm getting stuff done for sure. But am I getting stuff done the best I could at either of those tasks?
So great point. And if you had time to just not be doing anything before
rest,
you do your what would that do?
Energize yourself.
Exactly. Big
I could
facts.
go so much, and it's only real recently that I realized this. And like I always sort of knew it, but like I was always like, I can do it. I want money from both ends.
Momentum. So I mean, you did that from both ends, and you created a momentum to a point where you're able to consider now dropping one half, and you only get to that point by going through the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, trusting the process. Everyone hits a point where they're like, okay, I need a new level now.
But sometimes you're in that process and it does not feel like a process. That's the other thing you got to remember.
For sure.
It's like, this just feels like absolute chaos and my girlfriend hates me.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. Yes, man.
Oh my God.
This is why this podcast is beautiful, because that's real.
That is very real.
Like she loves me. But I'm like,
my girlfriend does not actually hate me.
Yeah. No.
But
like I'm the guy, and I'm supposed to be, and like I'm living my dream. I'm trying to build my dream, and she loves me and she supports me. But like, yo, this is tough. We're in the corner.
Yeah,
this is tough.
How long does she want to stay in the corner? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if I want to keep the relationship. Does it matter how long I want to stay in the corner? Nah, it's how long both of us want to stay in the corner. That's like,
you know what I'm saying? Again, we could go in on this for a long time. I know we can't, but like it's really about like, it's a process.
Yeah.
And it all doesn't happen overnight. And I actually think that the more of these conversations that can be pushed out into the world, the better it's going to be for the creative community, because they're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one thinking or feeling this. Sometimes that's all you need to keep going.
Yeah.
Is to know you're not alone in the thinking of like, wow, I'm actually confused. I actually don't know what the next step should be. I kind of feel like I do, but like I'm kind of, and you go on a podcast and you hear that this person dealt with that same thing en route to whatever they're doing. It's just another thing to like, okay, tuck that. I'm not alone. The other thing is, 3 times out of 10, baseball players get hailed as the best.
Yeah.
The thing that I want to end on is like, it's not even the 3 hits that I'm like fascinated by. It's the 7 shits that they come back from to stand in the box and compose themselves after 7 failures in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And they step up like it never happened to hit on 3 occasions. In my life, if there are 3 times that I get to live in flow, it's worth it. It's worth it because I'm living my truth out in 3 distinct moments. Who knows what those spawn?
Right.
You only need 3 hits, bro.
You only need 3 hits. I love that, man. Man, Jesse, dude, appreciate having you on, man.
I appreciate this. I appreciate this a lot. I
Right.
appreciate this a lot. I love what you guys are doing. And like I said, I'm inspired by what you all are doing here. Shouts out to the entire team at Lenz. Keep going.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Actually, you want to plug yourself? Instagram, socials, and whatnot?
Yeah, man. This feels like... What's that? We don't have wings, but at the end he always asks. He's like, "Yo, plug yourself." Yeah. It feels like a moment because you're like, "Hey, so Jesse, before you're done, like, tell the people where they can see you." That's crazy. This is dope. At IAMJESSE Jones, JONES. At I am Jesse Jones on Instagram.
Perfect.
Everything else is connected there. www.thejonesandjones group. That's our agency. My parents started it in 87, and I've since taken it over, and we do a lot in the creative space, branding, consulting, working with brands, helping them understand our culture. So www.thejonesandjonesgroup.com and at I am Jesse Jones on Instagram. And if you took in any of this, even a part of it, I appreciate you. So
awesome. Well, this has been another episode of the Industry Talks podcast hosted by Lenz Studio. This has been a great one, really fun one. Appreciate having Jesse on. Tune in next week for another episode with another special guest. And that's a wrap. Peace.
Peace.